welcome to 2022 and a new episode of A Light Chat, our short interview series where we discuss all things relevant to lighting. Joining us as always, our resident expert, Frank Grobmeyer. And we're very excited today because we're going to be joined by Lauren Vogel. She's the Director of Public Relations for Scooter Media, which was just named Cincinnati's Small to Mid-Size PR Firm of the Year for the 5th year in a row. Congratulations. And why is PR and social media so important when it comes to lighting professionals and lighting companies alike? Well, that's just one of the questions that we're going to pose to Lauren as we cover today's topic, the impact of PR and social media. Lauren, welcome to the show. We're so excited to see you on A Light Chat.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your background and the background of Scooter Media.
Scooter Media is a small to mid-sized agency located in the Cincinnati area. We're technically in Northern Kentucky, but for those familiar with the region, it's about the same. We work with clients that range in a variety of different industries. We work in the business to business and business to consumer space. So we have quite a few different types of clients that we serve. But typically when we start with a client, there's a very intense onboarding process that we go through in order to really fully be ingrained, not only in the industry that they're serving, but also just to get to know the client a little bit better. We learn everything we can about their products and services. Their audiences are really important for us to know about because that helps us in terms of finding where to target them at.
We're a lighting company. It's very fast paced. It goes 110 miles an hour. It seems like every 2 months there's a new product launched because the technology is constantly evolving. So what are the challenges with working in lighting specifically, given that type of fast paced dynamic?
Yeah, I think the key for anybody that's working in a fast-paced environment like that is to be flexible. We always do planning exercises with our clients when we onboard, or every quarter, or monthly even. And even the best laid plans, sometimes you have to be able to just push them aside and pull in what you need to for the month or the week or even the day.
How complicated does that get when you're dealing with multiple sales channels?
It can get very complicated. So one thing to note is that it's really important for an agency, especially, to be working very closely with not only the client contact in-house, but also their entire team. So that could include sales. It could include their marketing contact and their marketing team. It would definitely include their leadership team as well, since a lot of the content that we get comes directly from leadership in terms of what they want to focus on. So really making sure that those lines of communication are open is key to being able to be so nimble and be able to shift quickly.
So like a lot of industries, you have the people that really know how to use PR, marketing, social media, and then there's others that don't. How does somebody who doesn't really feel that's a field of expertise for them understand the value in it?
We kind of hit them with data, right? It's very hard to say no or to not understand the data. So going in and saying to them, we did the research, we're finding that, 90% of your audience is leveraging LinkedIn over Facebook, right? Something as simple as that, just helping them to understand, like, this is why we're making that recommendation. This is why we're using that channel. But I also would encourage them, people who are looking for direction and resources on how to really put together a marketing plan, to reach out to some of these agencies. So for example, on Scooter Media's website, we have an entire blog full of content and information for folks who are maybe unfamiliar or just moving into the communication space.
How important is it to get the employee buy-in when you're trying to develop a social strategy and really create a culture of engagement?
For us, it is critical that we have buy-in from the employees because they're the ones who are face-to-face with the customers every day. They're hearing their pain points. They're hearing why they're purchasing different products or services from our clients. And to not have that connection with them is really detrimental because then there's a severe disconnect in the type of content that we're sharing, right? So for example, if we know that, if the sales team knows that a client is looking to purchase a good or service because it is not just cheaper, but because it's easier to install, for example, right? That's really important for us to know when we're creating content because it gives us direction and the type of messaging that we need to leverage when we push that content out on our channels.
Natural LED produces a lot of great content, whether it be social media content, learning libraries, promotional materials, that if the distributor doesn't integrate and work with that manufacturer, a lot of those materials get wasted.
Yeah. And creating content can be expensive, right? If you don't have an in-house team that can create those videos or e-newsletters, right? So leveraging the materials that you already have at your disposal that are free to you is a win-win for everybody.
Say that there's someone watching that owns a small lighting company and they're really just trying to get started and they don't have a big budget and they certainly don't have a large staff. What would they do? What should they do first?
The first thing that you want to do with anything that you're going to invest time or money into is the research, right? You want to make sure that you're looking at your audiences to really understand where they're spending time, where they're looking for news and information. You really need to also do some digging to see what your competitors are doing, because it gives you a really good opportunity to find the areas that you can own as an organization. So research is the key to beginning anything.
So now that you're an expert in lighting, what were the biggest challenges going into lighting and learning about lighting as an industry?
Yeah, when we start with any client, we always say we may not be the expert in this industry, but we are the experts in communication. So for us, it was really getting an understanding of who we're reaching. We went through a really excellent exercise with the team at Natural LED. We went through the entire list of products and services, and we had the internal team call out, okay, what industry specifically does this product align with? Like, who's using this product? And we created this really nice matrix that then broke down not only just the industries that those serve, but also the specific titles of people that they're engaging with, right? The specific companies that they might want to target and talk to and make sure that they're getting in front of. And then that allowed us to really create a very targeted strategy for social media, especially where you have a lot of wiggle room and the ability to target people very specifically.
I found that process really interesting too, because we thought we were helping provide you information, and yet by doing it, we were learning again, and it gave us an opportunity to connect our products to certain customers. And it was a great exercise, I think, for all parties involved to do that kind of mapping process.
Thinking about Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, I mean, there's so many social channels nowadays. If you're kind of really trying to get your legs underneath you, how do you know what to focus on first? I mean, LinkedIn for sure in the business space, but you still want to be relevant in the other spaces, correct?
Correct. And sometimes it's a little bit of like trial and error, we like to say. So sometimes we're like, oh, we're for sure that our audiences are spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, that they're also using Facebook, and that they're maybe using Instagram. And reviewing the data, again, is just so important, because we'll find that maybe we're not right when we go in and assume, or we just have such rich analytics that are available to us, especially through social media platforms, that it really gives you a more clear direction and where you should spend your time, your assets, the money, right? If you're going to do a boosted budget. So again, I think as we think about how the communications field has evolved and social media in general, I mean, just being able to be flexible again, right? And finding those trends and finding a natural way to plug into them. We never want to do it in a way that feels very forced. Is the key to really leveraging those channels successmarketing.
And I think there's a lot of older people like me who are in this business that actually are doing marketing and PR and don't even realize they're doing it.
Right. Those face-to-face opportunities with your audiences are crucial, but especially in a digital age in the middle of a pandemic, when a lot of people are still nervous about gathering in large crowds, you have to take a look at all the channels that you have at your fingertips and that you have access to. All of those things that you're doing, whether it be an in-person event or posting to social media, they all play a role.
A lot of managers used to say in the old days, don't spend your time on Facebook or LinkedIn, do that on your own time. But social selling and building relationships and growing your business and making contacts and prospecting, this all can be done through social media these days.
If you think about how you are as a consumer, like, you're just getting additional real estate for your brand to get in front of these people. And it really, you have to use all those channels that you do have access to.
We understand the value of social media. So give us a little bit of why public relations is so important as well.
Key thing with media relations is it's relationship building, right? Being able to be a part of more well-rounded stories with several different organizations, I think, provides more value to those audiences you're trying to reach.
So anytime you see someone on a phone, it doesn't mean that they are just they're blindly doing nothing, right? They actually could be working. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people find out more information about Scooter Media?
Yep. So they can go to scootermediaco.com. And again, the blog is a great resource if you're looking for information or just some resources on how to get started in your communications efforts. And then, of course, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn as well.
Thank you to Lauren and Frank, and thank you for watching this episode of A Light Chat. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Natural LED YouTube channel for future episodes. We hope to see you soon.